And I got kicked out.
So also, Garrett, if you can make sure Michelle Pruden and Kim, and Michelle all have sharing capabilities, please.
I think they do.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I get everybody waves. That's
I
adorable.
know. I love it.
Me too.
All right, let's see if I can do it.
I think if we were all in a room together, how wonderful it would be.
Oh, wonderful. Well, people are still slowly coming in, little by little by little. But shall we dive right in? Everybody ready? Yes. Okay, so we are here for Community of Practice today. And our agenda is just a few announcements here at the beginning. Introduction to VR's workforce team and information about what they do and how we can all partner together. Some information from Michelle Pruden about OSTC stuff. And then at the end, I'm going to give an update about our 23-24 YTD IGAs. All right. Okay, so I am actually just going to introduce Kim Copeland, who is lead with vocational rehabilitation with the workforce team. And Kim, you can take it from there to introduce your team. Taps, everybody here. I think we all know each other by now, but wave and just say, hello, I'm a Tap, I'm here. Your Tap is here. We're all here today.
Hey, I'm going to interrupt really fast about the PREETS database. I've been getting emails and I think others have, and that we are aware of it. And Jesse got on it and is getting things taken care of. So thanks for being patient, and hopefully that will get fixed sooner than later. Any word on it, Jesse?
Can't hear you.
Oh,
are we
Try again.
Joyce just looked it up. It's fixed on her end from what she can see. So go ahead and try it after this call and you'll be good to go.
Okay. And Michelle Pruden, when we get to you, we'll do OSTC announcements so everybody can remember. We'll block info together. Okay. Ready? Kim, take it away.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for being here today and sparing some time to meet Voc Rehab's workforce team. There are 5 of us on the call today. I'm very, very excited to say, well, there were 3 of us until last week, and we have 2 new colleagues that have joined the team. Today's their very first day on our team, not with VR, and certainly they're not new to the work in disabilities, but so we invited them in, nothing like throwing them into a meeting, their very first few hours on the job, right? So my name's Kim Copeland, and I am the lead workforce and business coordinator for Voc Rehab. I have a statewide focus in my role. We're going to dive a little bit more into that and how we can be a resource to all of you. And so we have a PowerPoint that I'm going to share, and I'm just going to go ahead and launch into that. I believe we have, Mary Jo, at this point, do we have 25 or 30 minutes left? I want to make sure that we stay very, very timely.
25 would be great.
Okay. Well, we have a lot of stuff to cover in 25 minutes. And so without further ado, I'm going to just go ahead and stop my video since I'm going to share screen, and that will take up everything I'm looking at. Anyways, let's see here. Oh, this is interesting. I have a different screen than I normally do. Let's go like this. Oops, let me get rid of that. You definitely don't want to see my schedule. And if somebody could unmute, since I can't see anyone, could somebody unmute? Let me know if you're seeing my PowerPoint right now.
Not yet.
It's just black,
No.
Kim.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. Your screen sharing is paused. That's odd. Let me, I don't know why that's the case. Huh, that is
Libby
very...
is saying, I think you need to have your video on.
Oh, let's go back to that and try it out. I've never had that happen before, so let's try it again. Let's see. How's that working?
See it.
Wonderful. Well, maybe
Back
that's the,
in business.
okay, that was the secret. Now we know. Everybody's I think software is set up differently. Okay, well, again, we are a vocational rehabilitation's workforce team, VR for short. We're going to move through some slides really quickly and some we're going to hang out more on. But what we're going to cover today is we're going to do an introduction of VR's workforce team. We're going to talk about what our roles are and responsibilities are, which really truly focus on business engagement. And of course, the whole purpose is what that means to all of you. And we're going to leave you with some resources before we depart today. And then hopefully we'll be able to eke out a little bit of time for some Q&A session with you. So in starting out, the workforce team covers the entire state of Oregon, and we'll go into what our responsibilities are in just a moment. But to introduce ourselves, we'll go right now. What's showing on the screen is a map of the state of Oregon, and Voc Rehab divides the state of Oregon actually into 3 regions. But if you're able to see the map, you'll see that there are 4 different colors up there. That's because our region 3 is so enormous that we split it and cover the area with 2 people as opposed to 1 person dedicated to each region. So let's start at the top. Gary, if you'd kick us off, do a super brief intro of who you are and maybe what your title is, and then the counties that you cover.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm Gary Charavelli and resident of Clackamas County. I'm the Regional Workforce and Business Coordinator for VR's Region 1, which includes the 3 metro counties, Yamhill, Clatsop, and Columbia. So in our roles, we treat business as our primary customer. Kim will get a little bit more into how we go about that, but it's a pleasure to see you guys, many of whom I have met before. I'm looking forward to our time together. I'll pass the mic to you, Courtney.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon. I am Courtney Reese. Thank you guys for having us. I am the Regional Workforce and Business Coordinator for VR's Region 2, which are 10 counties consisting of Coos, Curry, Douglas, Lynn, Benton, Lincoln, Marion, Polk, Tillamook, and Lane. I live here in Tillamook, but I do cover all of the purple area, and very excited to see how we can partner together. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Courtney. And I promised Terry and Misa, only a couple hours into their first day with us, that when I invited them to this meeting, I thought, gosh, I'm not going to put them on the hook to speak and be on the spot, but I certainly would love it if you wouldn't mind unmuting and saying hello. Terry and Misa together cover our Region 3. So Terry covers everything. If you're able to see that blue color, Terry, are you able to see my screen okay? And maybe just want to read off your counties and say hello? That's the only thing I'll put you on the spot for.
Sure. I have not memorized my counties, so I will be reading them. It's Wasco, Hood River, Grant, Umatilla, Union, Wallowa, Baker, Malheur, Harney, Sherman, Gilliam, Morrow, and Wheeler. And I'm really excited I was previously a YTP specialist. Then I moved on to the VR youth team as a pre-ed coordinator, and I'm very, very excited to be in this role and to move over to my home in Union County.
Thank you, Terry. We're excited, very excited to have you here. And then Misa, if you're able to unmute, I will point out that on the screen, we don't have Misa's phone number, contact number, or email address yet. That is because Misa will receive her state provided laptop and work phone here soon, and we don't have access to that information yet. So in the meantime, Misa, are you able to unmute and say hello?
I think, can you hear me?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, today's my first day. I am housed out of Bend, so I'm very familiar with the Jefferson, Crook, and Deschutes part of my new territory. But in addition to those 3, I'll also be working with Lake, Klamath, Jackson, Jackson and Josephine counties. My background is I've just spent the last 15 years working for the Oregon Employment Department and working out of a WorkSource office and partnering with my VR partners. So now I've actually gone over to that side and will be working with my cohorts that I've worked for with for a long time, kind of in a different role, which is very, very exciting.
We're glad to have you. So very excited. Thank you, Misa. Okay, so we're going to dive right in. As a workforce team, our responsibilities are long-term partnerships, with businesses. And so while we're building those long-term partnerships, we will naturally uncover employment opportunities that our business partners may have. And of course, then it's our responsibility working for VR to connect and share those back with our VR staff, and therefore ultimately that it reaches clients of ours and job seekers. And we also connect those opportunities to partners as well, which you'll learn more about. And that's why we're here today. And then finally, we collaborate with so many different workforce partners. Later in our presentation, we'll cover some of them, but we don't do our roles in a vacuum. We have many, many partnerships in serving business. So I'm going to actually hand it off to Gary for, I believe it is the next 3 slides. Gary, it's all you.
All right. Well, I think I lucked out because this is my favorite slide in our deck, because I do think it really helps me understand and talk about the work that we do. So we talked about business being our client, and if we think about our roles as being similar yet different than a VRC, a VR counselor, we look at the steps that are taken with a job seeker and essentially turn things around and serve the business in much the same way. So for us, an intake, it's about asking and listening and really trying to get a sense of where that business is along their DEIA journey. And we are pointed about asking at the company to tell us a little bit about where they've been, what they're doing along those lines, so that we can really assess just how ready that business is to receive a referral for a job seeker with a disability. Some of the questions we may ask, as we're always ready and able to offer disability awareness training, but try to find out how receptive that company is. Is this something that they've done before? What's their baseline? We talk a little bit about their job postings. Oh, I'm going to kill my camera. I hope my audio is not too bad.
That'd be great. Gary, thank you.
All right. We want to make sure that their job descriptions accurately list essential duties, and they are not of the older type that maybe assume that every role within an organization has to have a valid driver's license, regardless of that component. Things along those lines. And take a look at the application process itself to make sure that it's accessible, and if accommodations are needed, that there's mechanism for the job seeker to receive those. We help them explore their options, and we talk a little bit about our services. We can help with the training, as we lean on pretty hard. We help with recruitment assistance. And in some cases, an introduction to a partner, another workforce partner, is an ideal way to assist a business. We will also, during this introduction, get to know you part, talk a little bit about some of the broader strokes of VR. What is a job coach? Might you have familiarity with a job coach? And when we're talking about long-term supports to business, we also kind of layer in what we do for job seekers. And it's an opportunity to talk about what a job coach on a business's work site could look like. And most of us in this field have realized that it's not a given, that it's understood or even very well tolerated. So in our next slide, if you would. Thank you. We do talk about what a partnership with VR means. And that is, we want to be there not just today, but for the long haul. We want to understand your business so that when you do have needs, we understand them well enough to be able to refer qualified job seekers to your business. We make sure that anybody that we're working with understands that in addition to the job seeker that they're meeting, with VR comes a team of support. Those are the voc rehab counselors. It's the job coaches or job developers who really know those job seekers super well, have relationships with the school districts, if that's the case, where those individuals have come to us from. We talk to businesses about our ability to provide disability awareness training, things that are very introductory. We can talk about things that are customized to meet their needs, depending on where they are. Section 503 compliance, for anybody that's doing any federal contracting, they have some targets as far as the percentage of the labor force that should have a disability, and we can help introduce folks to qualified talent. Referrals to subject matter experts are something else that we're very quick to offer. We try to make it clear that we do not know everything. We don't pretend to, but we do know enough to pick up the phone and talk to the Northwest ADA Center or to refer to Ask Jan for certain things. And again, we really do want to connect folks to the most appropriate resource. That's how we show our value. Next slide, please. All right. And so again, when we are talking to our business partners, whenever possible, we tie the ability to meet a business's need back to voc rehab. But in some cases, that isn't always going to be the case. Case in point might be a construction firm that is only offering work 48 or 60 hours per week. We will talk to our folks at VR, but that's not necessarily our sweet spot in terms of schedules. And so we know to go out to our partners, perhaps that are really find the more ideal sweet spot for the labor pool. Courtney's going to talk a little bit about some of the hiring events we assist folks with, but that's another mechanism that allows a business
Hey, Gary.
to just kind of get their
You're breaking up
message
a little more, Gary.
Yeah, Gary, you're breaking up. So I think we're going to
out
go.
to
Oh,
folks serving job seekers.
What
all
if
right.
I can't mute him. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to move to the next slide, Courtney. And
That's
that was
fine.
pretty simple and self-explanatory. So go ahead.
Oh, no. So
Courtney,
these,
I'll let you take it from here.
thanks, Gary. We love technology.
Yes.
So some of the events that we offer
Okay.
are can come in different forms and may look different if you get these in your email inbox. Our first one is a business spotlight. These are events that we host where a business gets to come and present on all things them. They get to talk about their application process, maybe what positions they have open, maybe a contact person within HR, the culture of their company. It's a really great place for a business just to come and present on themselves. And then we invite in our counselors, we invite in job developers, YTP, anyone who could gather information and bring it back to a job seeker. That is what these events are for. We don't normally hold these for the job seekers because most of the time businesses kind of get bombarded with the job seeker questions, and we really want these to be, sorry, my dogs are going crazy. I hope you can't hear that. An overarching event for everyone who supports job seekers to learn more about that business. Our middle flyer is our Business Leaders Lunch and Learn. We actually offer these every other month for businesses specifically. And this is where businesses can come and we have someone present on a topic to those businesses, whether that be about accommodations, maybe the work opportunity tax credit, maybe we have one about job coaching and like dispelling myths. We do a different topic every other month. And it's really kind of like a community of practice for business leaders and businesses to come in, listen and learn, connect with other businesses who may have questions, and really gather more knowledge on whatever that topic may be. Then our third flyer here is actually our joint VR and OCB business solutions flyer. So we partner very closely with Oregon Commission for the Blind VR serves all clients with disabilities except for blind and low vision, which are then supported by Oregon Commission for the Blind. So we work very closely together. And this is for businesses. Just to kind of talk about some of our services as an overview for the VR's workforce team and also OCB's business services team as well. So one of the main questions that we get in these roles is what is the difference in between you and a job developer? Sounds like the same thing. What does this mean? And so prior to the regional workforce and business coordinators coming on board, there was one person doing this job for the entire state. That was Kim. She did not have a team and she was doing this by herself. And so now that we have regionals added to the team, we're really able to dive deeper into our communities in each region and do more of this workforce focused type of work. So our team provides services to business. That is our customer. Whereas our counselors or our job developers are really focusing on providing services specifically to a job seeker. Their outreach is done on a client-specific focus, whereas ours is done on that long-term partnership focus. We, as the workforce team, can provide customized training. So we want to meet the needs of the business and we want to focus on disability in the workplace. We can talk about customized employment. We can really tailor those trainings to that business need. On the other side, a job developer would really look at customized employment. They are going to be meeting the needs of that specific individual client that they are working with, and they're going to be focusing on the individual specific strengths. They are going into that business looking for, one specific job for that individual. Our workforce team supports business. We want to help with inclusive hiring practices, accommodations, looking at barriers, like Gary mentioned, applications. What is that process? How can we maybe change some of that to make it more accessible, promoting their workforce needs as a business? And then our job developers, they're really supporting that individual. They're working on resumes and applications and interview skills and all of the things surrounding one individual's job, and then promoting their skills and abilities as well. So those are our main differences between our team representing workforce and then our job developers that are working specifically with clients. Is this me too, Kim?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and fill out all of it. It's all you.
We have been kind of talking about workforce partners. What does that mean? And there's a list here on the screen. It is not near all the partners that we work with, but it's just a few that we wanted to mention. So that could be our youth team, our pre-ETS team, YTP, Oregon Commission for the Blind, our employment department business services teams, our local workforce boards in all areas across the state, WorkSource, of course, as well. We have tried to and continually connect with Employment First. Kim sits on a national level and connects with Washington and Idaho's VR teams as well regularly. Our VA and the team that serves all of our veterans, tribal partners, job developers, the list goes on and on and on. How we do this is by hosting trainings or events where we can invite all of these partners in and connect, joint meetings with businesses. So maybe our business services team at OED has set up a tour at a local business and they want to invite in other partners. And so VR gets to join, OCB gets to join, we can invite other people in as well. We can do referrals, warm introductions, and then leveraging partners' expertise. People that may have been working in that area for a while, really kind of diving into their expertise in that area and doing those warm handoffs and warm introductions instead of kind of starting anew. And why we do this is because all of these workforce partners are engaging with business too. We're all at some point in our jobs connecting with business. And so in partnering together, we can ensure that disability is understood and represented when talking to business.
Thanks, Courtney. Okay, hi everyone, it's Kim. I'm going to jump back in here. I know we're running out of time quickly. So one thing that's in this PowerPoint that we can share with all of you is a page of resources. It's got VR and our partner OCB on there as far as main contact on the webpage. If you're unaware of askjan.org, it's an amazing website filled with all sorts of information about accommodations and ADA questions, and it's great for businesses and individuals. I did highlight there to check out their A through Z of disabilities and accommodations, as well as on their site, they have something called an accommodations search. It's so knowledgeable. I call it the Powell's books of disability. It's wonderful. We reference a lot the Northwest ADA Center and reach out to them to answer sometimes our own questions or questions from businesses. It's great to know that they're there. And finally, I wanted to make mention, special mention of WorkSource Oregon as a really important partner to us and to all of you, as well as to businesses and individuals. And it's good information to know because you can share when you connect with a business, you can let them know about WorkSource Oregon. It's amazing how many of them don't know about the local office who offers businesses free job postings. They have local area recruiters to help the business connect to job seekers. They host events. They are also knowledgeable, as we are all as well, about tax credits and incentives. And in addition, they oftentimes have access to funding for apprenticeships and internships and other training opportunities. So they have local area data and industry data that's also just really, really important and helpful. So if you have questions about, if you're working with a student who wants to work in a certain industry, you're not quite sure if that industry, is really accessible in the area that you're in, you can always reach out to WorkSource and they can run some information and numbers for you. They've got an economist or economists that are amazing. So wrapping things up, the next steps for all of us, we certainly absolutely invite you to attend the events that we host. Again, we host events where businesses are presenting out to you, all of our partners, so you can come and learn more about that business and see where you might be able to connect in with them, whether it's about one individual that you work with, or maybe sometimes we have people pop in that goes, oh my gosh, I want to reach out to that person, that HR person, and see if they would do a tour for our students. So come to the events that we host. And it highlights our business partner tour. You can learn more. I am going to share out a business solutions flyer that Courtney talked about a little bit earlier. It's an overview of some of the many, many things that we can do to support businesses. And you are more than welcome to share that flyer with your business partners, as well as use it as a resource that day that you can't remember what on earth VR's workforce team does. You can look at that flyer again as a resource. And we also invite you to connect in with all of us on LinkedIn. We share out information and events that we host. And so each of us individually, not VR's workforce team doesn't have a LinkedIn presence, but each one of us do. And so we invite you to connect with us. I highly recommend you follow WorkSource Oregon. They're always hosting events. And if you follow them on LinkedIn, oh my gosh, you'll have more things than you know what to do with. So that's another resource I would leave you with. I'm not quite sure exactly how many minutes we have left, but phew, that was a whirlwind. I'm going to stop sharing and say, do you have questions or comments or anything we can get to in our last few minutes together?
So I was about to say, someone just put a question in the chat. What is the main difference between workforce and WorkSource?
Oh, good. Do you want to answer that one, Courtney?
Sure.
Okay,
well,
thank you.
WorkSource is also an entity that serves the entire state of Oregon. They have, Misa, 30 something offices. Oh gosh, I'm going to butcher that,
I think so.
across the state, and serve any and all job seekers through their offices. They have different programs that they can offer as well. Through the WorkSource offices, it is where the employment department is held, and a couple of other programs as well. Workforce is more of an overarching term for the work that everyone is doing. We specifically are called a workforce team specifically to VR. So when we are out talking to business, we are talking with disability at the forefront of our conversation. Yes, WorkSource offices and our employment department business services team are connecting with businesses, but they are doing so on a general overarching view of just getting to know that business and seeing all the job opportunities open and being able to list those, where we are kind of connecting with business with disability at the forefront. We knowing that we work specifically for vocational rehabilitation, and the clients that we will be introducing to the majority of the time will and most of the time experience some sort of disability. So I would say workforce is kind of an overarching term that we've coined to name our team, because kind of all the partners that we mentioned earlier are involved in workforce at some level in their positions. WorkSource is a name specifically for an entity that serves job seekers throughout the state of Oregon. You can go in and meet with an individual to they have job developers, they have different aspects to the work that they do. They have computers that you can use to go in and do job searches. They host resume classes, they host interview classes. It's really focused on getting any and all back into work.
Thank you, Courtney. Hey, Mary Jo, I'm going to check in real quick. How are we doing on time?
I think we're good. We have one more question from Michelle, and it's, how do you recruit businesses? What motivates them to be partners with workforce?
That's a great question. I would say that, so we don't actually find that we have to do much recruiting. Businesses come to us from in many different ways. They might be a referral from a partner out there that connects with business. Businesses oftentimes, especially with the move towards DEIA, diversity, equity, inclusion, and access. So, DEIA has been all the rage for years now, and businesses want to do better. And so businesses will look up, agency or program serving job seekers with disabilities. Well, Voc Rehab will pop up. And so oftentimes they come to us because they want to connect with job seekers with disabilities. They're trying to do better within their workplace. They might be referred to by a partner. They might be a federal contractor, like Gary mentioned earlier, and a certain percentage of their staff has got to really disclose that they have a disability. And so they want to connect with us because they have open positions to fill, and they want to reach out to those with disabilities. And so we find that we have more work than we know what to do with, and we really don't have to recruit anyone. Yeah. But referrals from partners, especially such as all of yourselves, what I will leave you with is, if you are connecting with a business out there and say you see a great opportunity for them to have a better understanding of disability in their workplace, which we probably all see commonly, right? And there's a lot of need out there to better understand disability. Please keep in mind that our team can offer at no cost to any business. None of the services that we offer are at a cost to be either businesses or individuals. So all of the variety of disability trainings that we offer to business are all at no charge. And so if you are working with a business, you see that they need to understand disability better, otherwise you're never going to get through that door and have a good connection, right, on behalf of the student. Let them know that VR is here and that we offer a variety of trainings at no cost. Oftentimes businesses are super excited about free training. And so we'll figure out where they're at, what their understanding is of disability, who they want to send to the training. And it's all, we can do virtual or in person. Sometimes a company will train everyone in the company, depending on their size. Sometimes they only train management or the HR team, but we will do a very customized training to help them understand how to talk about disability, how to recruit and onboard, and most importantly, retain, because you can take all these steps to hire somebody with a disability, but if you're not inclusive and supportive, and if you don't change your company culture, you're not going to retain that person for very long. And so we help them. That's why our partnerships are very long-term focused, is we want to help them down that path of, meeting all those steps that it takes to really have a very, very diverse workforce.
I love that, Kim. One piece that I hear all the time is a new manager came in, and all of a sudden, what was this wonderful workplace for a person is no longer, becomes very toxic and very troubled. So I think that's great. Is it almost better for a transition specialist if they're seeing that happen with one of their students to them go in, you go in, what go to the upper management, what works best?
It's a great question. It really depends on the relationship with that, with that business, right? So if the specialist has a really strong connection and relationship and want to pose that, idea, hey, I'd love to introduce you to our partners over at Voc Rehab, and this is who they are, and this is what they do. And here's this business solutions flyer that they have. You can read more. That could be one step, but sometimes we get outreach and somebody's having a real big problem and they don't know how to start and approach it. And so then we'll talk to them more about, tell us more about the situation. There's many ways we can go. We can approach that based on what kind of scenario is happening. So yeah, just depends on the relationship, I would say.
Okay. Thanks. Any other questions out there?
Mary Jo, like I said, I will share our business solutions flyer, so everybody has it as a takeaway to recall what we talked about and kind of what we offer to business and why you'd want to introduce a business partner to us. We're just an additional resource, and so we're here to support them as well as to support all of you. And we hope to see you at our events. And I can talk to Mary Jo or Michelle Markle else, another time to see how we best share out our invitation to events, so all of you have that opportunity. So thank you so much for your time today, and we appreciate you all being here. Michelle Markle, what I'm wondering is it helpful, informational for us to hang around and learn more, or is it more appropriate that our team leaves at this point?
That is completely up to you guys. You are welcome to stay. We're talking about OSTC, the Oregon Statewide Transition Conference, a few announcements there, and then also the YTP IGAs for 23-24. So no feelings hurt if you want to leave. Everybody's busy, and you're also welcome to stay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. For all of us who are really into like systems alignment stuff and geek out about that and think about how to maximize partnerships, we've got a lot of learning and playing to do together with this team of Kim and Gary and Courtney and Terry and Misa, right? So thank you.
And
Now-
Charlotte just put in the chat before they all leave that this would be a great group to present at OSTC. So
yeah,
we need to maybe recruit them to do a presentation.
nice plug, Sally and Charlotte. Excellent idea. On that topic, you guys, hopefully everybody is saving the date for Oregon Statewide Transition Conference in Eugene at the Graduate Hotel, March 15 through 17. We want to make sure everybody knows the hotel block opened today. There are very limited rooms compared to the past. So move on that quickly if you want to get that block rate at the Graduate in Eugene when you stay there. Also, our call for presenters is scheduled to close this Friday at 5 p.m. We are hoping to get quite a bit more. We know everybody's really last minute. That's a normal pattern. We also know that we pushed it up before break, which is abnormal. Please get something in if you can. We may look to extend it if we don't get more in, but we'd love to hear more about all the wonderful things going on around the state. So please do submit for presentations. And then finally, Michelle Pruden has an update about Unique Boutique.
So I will go super quick. I put in the chat the registration form for Unique Boutique. We anticipate having Unique Boutique just as normal. You will bring all of your amazing product that your students have made, either in your school-based businesses or with CTE partnerships, and have it labeled with your school's name on it and the price. And then we are happy to sell your items for you. A lot of times people have brought students to, man the booths and sell items. And that's always really cool to meet kids that have worked on the product and talk about what goes into that. And so, yeah, if you have questions about Unique Boutique, feel free to put them in the chat. We have done a presentation in the past, and I'm not sure if that's something that you guys would like in the future, about possible ideas on how you can partner with your CTE program. I typically meet with my wood shop and my welding teacher every year, and talk about the projects that are going to be going on in school, and talk to them about my YTP kids, and then we partner on products that would be great for our student store or our farmers market booth.
Dwayne, I'm looking right at you, getting that great welding program going and having them make stuff. I know they sell it to EC, so up at their shop.
We're
So
working on it. We're partnering with the skills this year. They're working up on the stage with us and selling products and stuff. So
yes,
it's getting there finally.
yay. So we'll see some of their stuff in March.
I'm hoping. We'll see.
Also, on the registration form this year, there is a spot where you can upload pictures of your product. A lot of times there'll be opportunities to promote your product either at the conference, like in between sessions, or like at lunch on the big screen, or in PR announcements throughout the rest of this year and into next year. And so it's usually my students' product, and I feel bad about that, but I would love to showcase other people's product. So feel free to add attachments of items. Awesome.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, on to YTP IGAs 23-24. So I am going to go over what was shared with your administrators and business office folks last Monday. It's pretty brief, hopefully pretty simple, and hopefully we have time for a few questions at the end. All right.
Sorry, my bad.
But
Can you turn off your video? Hopefully your sound will come through better.
weird again? Oh my goodness. Weird. Okay. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to have to call IT about that. Anyway, here we go. Great news. We are extending for 1 year for current sites. So there won't be an RFGP or procurement process. And it is non-competitive. That means we welcome and want all of you who are in YTP partnership to please reapply, and we would love to extend all of those for 1 year. Why only 1 year? In the original procurement from 2019, this verbiage is in there. It said that we can amend up for a total of 5 years. And at the end of this year, we'll be at 5 years. So we're stuck with that. Some of the things that are good to know about are that we're asking for all things to be status quo except for an adjusted budget. That means we're aiming for the same FTE and the same student base. We are not starting over the student base at 0. We want you to keep working on your 21-23 student base. Of course, if more students than that, if you reach out and more students need VR services, please bring those students into VR. But we know that it's been a tricky adjustment for all of us with cohort starting at 0 and with the database from U of O going away starting in July. We don't really have a mechanism to count that at this point anyway. Okay, so no adjustments to student base or FTE is what we're aiming for. Also, this means no new sites. There is one adjustment that's really important. Again, your admin and business folks have been notified about this. The budget for 23-24 needs to be flat. It can't exceed what was approved for the 22-23 budget. Most places have pretty big cushions built into them. If your personnel costs have risen significantly, you'll need to adjust your budget elsewhere to compensate for that difference. And just a little personal plea to everyone is to try and aim for whole dollar amounts on our Excel spreadsheets. It saves a lot of work in the long run. So that's something that not right now, but if you have questions or concerns about that, that's something we can connect about to try and problem solve through, okay? All right, application for amendment packet will be just 3 documents: the narrative, the budget sheet, and the checklist. I'm going to show you each of those now. Number 1 here, we have the budget narrative. It's the same one as 21-23. For those of you who helped write it, it should look really familiar because it's the same. The budget sheet should also look really familiar. It is the same, except it's just 1 year, not 2 years, but it'll be, all the formulas will be included and it'll self-calculate everything for us. And then we have the checklist, which just shows me you've done this, you've done this, you've done this. You're aware of these different timelines. Very critical to include your updated point of contact and then submit the checklist with those other 2 documents. Our timeline is pretty tight. So last Monday, we shared this with admin and business office folks. Today, we're sharing with you. It is already up on the YTP website at UO. And we're asking for these application documents to be submitted to me via email by January 20th. And then March 1st, you know, in the background between January 20 and March 1, I'm submitting a whole bunch of stuff to the Office of Contracts. And then March 1 through 26 is when all of the signature paperwork goes back and forth between VR and your business offices. All right, so on the 5th, just to dial it down a little bit more in detail, we recorded and posted the community of practice on the YTP website front page. We emailed all of our current sites with the overview. That means we emailed your admin and business office folks the most up-to-date contacts we have. January 20th, your team submits the 3 required documents to me. We totally encourage and welcome early submissions if anybody's ready to do that, because it'll help us pace it out on this end with the contracts office. So if anybody wants to submit before that, yay, that would be wonderful. June 26th, we want all the forms signed. We have to have signatures from each entity before work can begin on July 1. And then we celebrate and get ready for another wonderful year of providing amazing services to our youth. Okay, so that's the IGA process. And then I have just a few more reminders. Any questions about that? Nothing right now. Okay. Somebody's looking at chat, right? Yes, probably. Okay. Here is another thing to be on the lookout for: a contacts survey coming out in email. It's really, 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 really challenging to keep up with all of the updated contacts at all of our different sites and schools and places. So it's administrators changing so regularly in business office, and you know, invoicing people changing really regularly, teachers changing, VRCs even changing, right? So what we decided to do is create a Microsoft form, which looks and behaves just like a Google form, but we can use it in VR. So we're going to be sending out a form. It should take a minute or 2 to fill out, and we would love everybody to fill that out. And that will give us a starting point of all of our current contacts and erase all of the old ones that are still lingering on to our old listservs and things like that. Okay, so that will be coming out in email in the next week or so. We're hoping that this can be linked to the new YTP website we're building on the VR website, and that the spreadsheet can be public facing so you guys can each and all have each other's contact info too. Thanks for your patience with all of that. And a few other reminders. Please continue to work with yourselves, your teams, in keeping your data current, both YTP data and PREETS data. Just because our methods are changing or might be changing, right? Different databases, portals, things like that, we still need accurate information to submit on our quarterly federal reports. That's something we still have to do. So please keep all that stuff updated. It helps us in the middle of all of this to continue to report what we have to report quarterly to our RSA partners. And a reminder to spend down your excess budgets. All of the dollars allotted this biennium need to be spent by June 30th. There won't be any carryover. So that was also shared with your admin and business office folks last Monday, and the budget guidance and amendment application were shared again via email, and they're posted on the website. So that's what we've got there. As always, here's the TAP team and myself, and we're here to help you navigate all of this stuff as we go forward through June. Okay. Questions about any of that? No?
Nope, there's none in the chat.
Okay. Okay. Hopefully that means it was clear and not confusing. And if you have specific budget related questions, reach out to me directly, have your admin or business office folks reach out to me directly. And that's the way. In the past, we required meetings with every site. And just to streamline things this year, we're not going to do that. But if questions come up, we can always meet in the meantime. Okay. All right. You are welcome, Yesenia. Will this PowerPoint be on the YTV website? Yes, it's already there. While we still have 9 minutes, I'd love to hear from people what's going on out there. Let's share some good news. Anybody have good news to share?
I have a question. Where do we get the attachment and the amendment stuff?
I think someone put the link. Jesse put the link in the chat box.
Okay.
And if you click on the link that's on the news story, it takes you to the forms and the PowerPoint and everything like that.
I have a little, I think a good story to share.
Yeah.
I've always got something to share. And actually it has to do with those dreaded PSO calls from every summer. I'm like, oh my gosh. But I had a young lady who graduated in 2021. And so during her high school career, especially her junior, senior year, her teachers are trying to refer her to me. She just wasn't following through. Just not good home life, just not doing well. So she kind of fell off the radar once she graduated. I wasn't able to get a hold of her again. Called to do that yearly check. She answers her phone and she's now really interested in some services and, you know, really wants to get some more information. We set up appointments and she follows through with every single one. She's checking in. We get her into VR. She's now going to do the CNA class. We got her a job in one day. They hired her on the spot and she's just been rocking it. Going from a young lady who has a lot of struggles at home, which are out of her control, to somebody who's just needed a little bit more time to maybe mature and kind of get get things just a little bit more together. She has been doing phenomenal. So I'm really excited for her. We got her a bike, we got her a bus pass. We're gonna do drivers, training, and she's most excited to have a job. So we're really, it was a really good thing. Because there's not a lot of great things sometimes, but that was a great, just amazing story.
Good things can come out of those dreaded PSO calls.
And highlights the importance of follow-up and follow-along services, which are VR transition services, everybody, in case you didn't know that. Yes.
My mindset, because I'm like, oh man, I got to make all those calls and I'll push it off and push it off. But this was one of those reminders to me how important those calls are and how it just sometimes takes a kiddo a little bit more time to mature or whatever it is. So I have to say I'm very thankful for those calls. And the PSO are the post-school outcome calls, because I know somebody asked in the chat. So yeah.
Now, they're actually phone calls that we make to students 1 year after they've left services. School districts are required to do it. It's a federal collection. And we make those phone calls to students to find out what they're up to. Are they in school? Are they working? And ask them a variety of questions. There's a survey. So if you're going to be involved with it, we have some training and we'll have some workshops and we'll have some things going on to make sure that you understand what your responsibility is for the post-school outcome. Follow up.
And she's my second success story from those calls. So I have to say, like, it's really changed my mindset. Because sometimes you got to chase them down,
Yeah. A lot of maturity happens in the 1 year you leave school. Schools.
It's all about data, yo.
Anything else? Thanks, Yesenia. That was lovely.
Oh, you guys are so great.
You got me good right there, Mary Jo.
WSD finally got a 4th transition specialist hired to fill in the spot for a couple of schools. So yay.
Woo-hoo! Yeah, filling positions is quite a challenge right now. So that's a major celebration. Have a whole team. It's exciting. Congratulations. Any other fun celebrations or good news to share?
Hey, Michelle, this is Edwin from
Yeah.
Three Rivers. So we, in our district, we partnered up with a local automotive shop here in Josephine County. And we created an automotive workshop where students were able to job shadow auto mechanics. So we have 4 high schools in our district. And so well, last week was 1 high school, and then we have the holiday break, but once January comes around, we'll finish up the other 3 schools. Just because we run a Monday through Thursday schedule. Friday's like really nice because kids aren't really doing much on Fridays and they're not going to school. So we were able to take them down to the shop and they shadowed a mechanic for about 2 hours. So that was really
Awesome.
nice.
Yeah, getting out of the school and the classroom and into those real settings can just be life-changing. So work-based learning experiences highlighted. Very, very good. Thank you, Edwin, for sharing. I love it. Can't wait to hear how they all go. Woohoo.
I just wanted to say hi. I'm brand new. I'm in a very small school district, and I'm really looking forward to learning more about the possibility to keep supporting the folks who are out here in the Mohawk Valley. Nice to meet you all.
Libby, so nice to meet you too. Welcome.
Thank you.
Where's Mohawk Valley? What's
right? It's Marcola School District. It's a teeny tiny school district just northeast of Eugene, Springfield.
Awesome. Well, welcome to a wonderful network. And what, I don't know if you know this or not, but now you're part of this network and you can pick up the phone and call any of these people and share ideas and make friends. All that.
You will be hearing from me.
Awesome. Okay. With that, you guys, much to celebrate. Look forward to another year. Hopefully the extension thing is pretty simple. Holler if you run into anything or have questions. And happy winter season, happy holidays, happy new year. And we are just so grateful for everything that you do. And yeah, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for coming.
Bye. Thank you.
Hey, Michelle, can I ask you a question that I feel like probably everybody else knows this, so I'm asking it at the end. But when you